Hi, my name is Jackson. I'm an aspiring game designer currently working on a Zelda-inspired Metroidvania. There are many challenges that come with designing a game like this, some general and some genre-specific, but the most recent one that I've overcome, and the one I'll be discussing in this video, is combat. In this genre, it can often feel like combat is simply there because it's expected to be. Like, what would an adventure be without hacking up a bunch of monsters and bad guys? And while I don't agree with that philosophy, I believe combat is a key pillar in games like this. It serves as a room-to-room challenge, making what would otherwise be boring traversal more interesting. But, in my opinion, it seldom actually succeeds at this. In by no means all, but certainly many games like this, combat is pretty shallow. You just lazily swing your sword or shoot your beam without much strategic thought to kill enemies that are simple, by the book, and sometimes even flat out annoying. The genre has improved in this regard, and all others, especially in the past decade. The genre's designers are becoming more skilled, and its design theory better organized. But everything can be improved upon. So, in an effort to do something unique and better with my game, I've designed my own combat system. Combining snappy controls with tense back and forth mechanics, my system naturally but firmly makes the player think about attack choice, positioning, risk-reward, prioritization, and tactical balance. It's exciting, engaging, and most importantly, deep. So, without further ado, let's dive in. Quick disclaimer, if you're watching this to get help with the creation of your own combat system, I'd first recommend watching GMTK's video on the subject. Mark is far more qualified to actually teach game design, and I referenced that video multiple times during development. This is just a showcase of one system that I've found to work and to be fun. I'm not saying you shouldn't pull inspiration from this video, but don't weigh my amateur ideas heavily. First, let's start with attacking. My system has two main attacks, light and heavy, and a modified version of each. The light attack is a wide slash, statistically balanced and capable of hitting many enemies at once, while the heavy attack is a narrow stab, much more damaging but slower and less forgiving. These two attacks are alright on their own, but if you hold backwards whilst performing them, they're transformed into completely different moves. The light attack turns into a spin attack, which is weak but great for clearing your area should you become surrounded, and the heavy attack turns into a stout kick, which is similarly weak but has high stun and knockback. This small handful of attacks gives you an orthogonal and easy to remember set of tactical options. The small size of this moveset means that rather than having to worry about what moves to use out of a myriad arsenal, the player can focus more on positioning and movement. Which brings us to the next facet of the system, the dash. This defensive action lets you snappily rush to a new position. The character is made invincible during the dash, so if you get surrounded, you can still escape most of the time. Note that the character's physics properties are manually altered during the dash to give it a better feel. This lends it the pleasing alacrity of a blink or flash, rather than the sluggish uncertainty of a firm shove on a patch of ice. Now, admittedly, if you were to take the combat system at this point, it would still be rather mindless. You could still just hack away at enemies lazily, or just dash around them over and over. But the best combat systems are not just well-tuned statistically and mathematically, but mechanically as well. The mechanics of a good combat system should be designed to keep encounters in their power band, so to speak, in the zone of flow between tame and monotonous ease and brutal and frustrating difficulty, both self-spooling and self-governing, if you will. And the best way to do that is to have interesting and innovative mechanics, of which my system has two. The first novel feature in my combat system is a feature called duality. Inspired by the concept of Jing from Avatar: The Last Airbender, duality is your character's energy, so to speak, in battle. It acts as a sort of numerical representation of the balance of your tactics. You build up positive and negative duality as you fight, charging the positive side when you attack and the negative side when you dash. Both sides slowly return to zero when you do neither. This is more than just an aesthetic statistic. Duality directly affects you in battle. Duality modifies both your damage dealt and received by up to a factor of 3. Positive duality multiplies and negative divides. Both have serious consequences on how you fight. High positive duality makes dispatching foes much easier, but makes hits from even weak enemies dangerous. On the other hand, high negative duality passively protects you. This is especially helpful if you're low on health, but if you suddenly have to fight, your first 4 or 5 strikes will be greatly cushioned, squandering part of your combo. And that is the perfect segue into the other novel feature, the combo system. That's combo system in the sense of a combo counter, not combo attacks, though I did experiment with the latter and I may choose to add them in future. Many action games have combo systems like this, but they're usually just for points and style, which is what makes mine more unique. The player can build up a combo by attacking enemies in quick succession. Every combo level over 1 increases the character's damage, but decreases their stun. As the combo grows, the enemy will begin to recover faster, making continuing the chain increasingly onerous. But since the stun decreases hyperbolically rather than linearly, the decrease will decrease as the combo increases. The difficulty will level off. The result? If the player is good enough to get a combo of 8 or so, they can theoretically keep it going indefinitely. But even assuming the player can pull this off, and it's by no means easy, this is still very risky. Not only can the combo be broken at any time by taking damage, but because you'll constantly be swinging your sword to maintain the combo, you'll rapidly build up positive duality, making said damage more damaging. You want to keep going, to keep that ever-increasing damage boost, but you know what the price is if you slip up, something that becomes easier and easier to do as the combo gets higher. These tantalizing conflictions, combined with the crisp base combat, make for an organically self-metering system that implores you to take risks and push the limits. An addictive and sterling experience. And that is it for my combat system. Of course, there's much more that goes into something like this than everything I've just listed off. Good enemy design goes hand in hand with good combat, and the two should influence each other in a cyclic manner. I've created a large and highly varied set of enemies to complement my combat system, which I would love to talk about in another video. If you'd like to try out my combat system, I've created a demo for it and published it on itch.io. Click the link in the description if you want to download it and try it out, and if you do, please give feedback. It helps me greatly. Anyways, thanks for watching, and take care.